everyone, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Curtain, where we try to unravel some of the producers' secrets as to how they made their show so good. In today's podcast, we'll be looking at one of the most well-known historical plays, Hamilton. This play stars Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the musical is now well known for its skill in marrying hip-hop and traditional Broadway music. Of course, Hamilton is a successful play that it is now because of how well it combines all of its set elements, all in harmony. However, that will take too long to talk about, and even with one of the 5 set elements, we can focus on a lot of the beautiful yet intricate details. First, in the following conversation, we'll be interviewing Mr. Nicholas Lee, who is an expert on theatrical lighting, and he's going to run us through why the lighting in Hamilton was so good and how they achieved this. Well, Mr. Lee, welcome to Behind the Curtain. Let me start you off. You're an expert in the set elements of lighting, so of course, you know we're here to talk about what made the lighting in Hamilton so good. But before we even talk about that, what is lighting in a play? Is lighting simply used to focus on the main character? What are we looking out for in general for lighting, and why is it even important in the play? Well, first off, lighting is one of the most important things in a play, musical, or a movie, and it is so much more than focusing on just the main character. To get things cleared up first, stage lighting is lighting that is needed to light up a stage. Ironic, I know. And it's a powerful tool for all events. Of course, like you said, it's a way to increase attention at your event and use to highlight people, stage, backdrops, and props. But as I've said, it is so much more than that. Lighting can come in different colours and different intensities. These effects help highlight the emotion of a scene. It can create a specific mood or atmosphere, and it can also be used to create visual effects or illusions. All of these effects are added together to provide the audience with an exhilarating experience. Everything in Hamilton has a meaning. They consider as much with the lighting as much as the choreography, the characters, the music, and all other production elements. In any play, when we analyse lighting, we specifically look at how it helps with the overarching story and to see whether it is useful or not. Sure, lighting can be important, and we now know what to look for when analysing the lighting in any play, but Hamilton received the Tony Award for the best lighting design in a musical. Surely there had to be some aspect to it to make it get such a high appraisal. Oh yes, of course, David Ark and Howard Blinkley did a wonderful job as lighting producers. Not only did they do what I mentioned above, they went above and beyond. Each act, each song is all unique. For each song, there is a different story, and because of this, Bingley gives each one of them a different quality of light, a different texture, and a different flavour. These different elements of lighting build up on each individual story, providing each with its own characterization, making each song a unique experience. Additionally, the colour of the light is decided upon the mood of the song, and the flavour of the music and the subject. For example, in the song Hurricane, the palette of the lighting is blue, green, turquoise and yellow, a vibrant colour palette that is not always pretty, as Alexander Hamilton faces inner turmoil before he publishes his writing. Not only with the colour, but the light also swirls around to give the effect of a hurricane, exactly highlighting the inner conflict Hamilton was feeling. But how Binkley did it so well was not only because of the texture and the flavour of the light, but how he focused on the characters themselves. The cast is often on stage, watching the action. The main problem is sculpting the lighting without actually taking away from the main character. The colour isn't supposed to take the attention away, but intensify it whilst also being meaningful. This being said, colour changes are supposed to be subtle, so as to not take the audience's attention away from the main deal. So with each colour change, each texture change isn't too flashy, and that is something I think Hamilton does really well. But of course, theatre is a combination of all set elements, not just the lighting. Do these elements interact in any way, or is each element rather focusing on its own thing and acts individually to its own elements? All the set elements interact with each other set element to create a realistic perspective. I will specifically focus on how light interacts with the other elements. For example, as previously mentioned, light can help convey a mood, which interacts with the music as it emphasizes the feelings of such musical element. Or it can help emphasize the color of a costume. For example, Bo's cold personality is accompanied by his blue shirt, but he's also constantly being shown by a blue light. But all of these elements combined is really what makes a theatrical performance impressive. These elements combined is what creates each individual character, which then creates the overall play. Personally, my favourite example is in the musical number Room Where It Happens. A little contextual background here. This song is sung from an outside perspective, Burr, when Hamilton has a secret meeting with two other founding members, Jefferson and Madison, to compromise about his financial plans. Burr is jealous and wants to know the truth behind the political power. This song is pivotal as Burr's motives are finally revealed as he expresses his simple, envy-fueled desire for political power, cementing him as an antagonist. Near the climax of the song, Burr jumps on the table and the tablecloth is pulled out from under him. This is a major event stressed by the changing colours in the light. The cloth being pulled under him is Burr sort of ripping his mask off and realising he needs to act differently to gain political advantage. The lighting change goes from a warm orange tone to a colder and more sinister blue colour. This is merely the confirmation of him beginning to start his villainy development. He has changed his tactic and the action of him jumping on the table cements this. As you can see, these elements combined create this characterization effect where each is dependent on the other in helping with the plot. Hamilton does this all the time, and this example with Burr is just one small example of how they did it. That's a very cool connection, and I see your point regarding how all of these set elements create the overarching play. The fact that Hamilton does this all the time really shows how beautiful this play is. Yes, I agree, Hamilton is truly a great show, all the way down to its very little details. Before we end today's podcast, I just wanted to add on one more little detail which I find so beautiful. In most shows, producers spend a lot of time to mask the source of the light. This is so that they don't distract you from the storytelling. However, in this play, once you walk in, you can see the light rigs, and according to David Ark, this was a conscious design choice. This was because David Ark did this to make it less realistic. It would make the audience feel like they were in a theatre instead of being part of the play like most other plays, which is something David Ark wanted to show Hamilton was a story, and for us to not treat it completely as reality. Thus, the light rigs help produce the effect that this really is just a play. This blend of props and lighting is just another beautiful connection that the lighting crew made to make these shows so great. Every little detail is just thought about, and it not only makes sense, but makes this place so beautiful. Where the light is placed, what colour the light provides, what texture it has, all of these elements combined bring the characters to life, giving each of them a unique style. Not only that, the lighting combines with the other set elements to form perfect unity, enhancing the effect that the director wants to provide for the audience, such as sadness or happiness. That was a very nicely woven conclusion. I finally see how lighting plays such a pivotal role in a play, and how it blends in with the other set elements to create beauty. I would love to talk more about this, but our time is almost up, so I would like to thank you for your time today. You are very welcome, and I hope to be back for another episode because each play uses the lighting differently, and it is amazing to analyse each film the way it is. Will do, Mr. Lee. Listeners, if you're still here, please click the subscribe button for more interviews like this, and write in the comments on what other theatrical elements you would like to see being heavily discussed. And as always, stay curious and always look for what's behind the curtain.